Hello. I hope you all are having a wonderful, blessed, fantastic day. And things are a little different. As you can see, we have a bit of a different background. I'll rearrange my room. It's looking really nice. I love this new atmosphere. But today's subject is why do good things happen to bad people? The reason I put those in quotes right there is because there's a good and a bad side to everything. Like you might say winning the lottery is really good. You got $1 million, everything fantastic. But the bad side of that is statistically about 99% of lottery winners end up worse than when they started. Because when someone hands you a ton of money, you're going to blow that money very fast unless you're used to having that kind of money. That's why a lot of lottery winners end up becoming addicts. They end up homeless. Their family starts begging them for money and stuff. So that's why the good thing has a bad side to it. Everything has two sides. But in the context of bad people, you could think of somebody such as the Joker, right? The Joker. Crazy psychomaniac, bad guy. But there are character traits we can learn from him, such as being assertive, knowing what you want, not allowing other people's opinions to affect you. These are good traits we can learn from a bad person. Somebody who overall we would say has destructive traits has things that we can positively learn from them. And that is what this presentation is on. Now, I use fictional characters because I don't want to use real people and badmouth real people. I use fictional characters, made up people. Now, the subjects we're going to cover are going to be confidence, not allowing other people's opinions to affect you, goal oriented, charisma, ambition, and focusing on opportunities, not limitations. These are all qualities that we can see in bad people. Because a lot of the people who commit um serial killers, a lot of serial killers were described as very charismatic. They knew how to talk to you. They knew how to make you feel comfortable. Yeah, before they killed you, but they knew how to talk to people. Not all of them, but Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a perfect example of it. He was described as a ladies' man. Now, first character up we got is Light Yagami. For context on those who haven't seen the show Death Note, he's a super smart teenager who magically gets this book with the ability that if you write somebody's name in it and think of their face, it kills them. That's all you gotta know about this guy. And he has such unwavering belief in himself that when he gets this book and he starts killing off the criminals, people hear about that and they're like, wow, all the criminals are dying. There must be some magical person doing this. And they worship this magical person who they call Kira, which is, yeah, they worship this magical person who they call Kira. And knowing that it's him, so only he knows it's him, he sees himself as a god and develops so much confidence that he thinks he can't be stopped by anyone. That's a very bad person, but they have very, very good, very strong confidence. Agent Smith from the Matrix. Now, I wouldn't characterize Agent Smith per se as a villain. I'd characterize him as simply a guy doing his job. That is it. He is a computer program for the sole purpose of just doing his job and making sure things stay in order. It doesn't matter if you think that he's bad. It doesn't matter if you think that he's good. He don't care. He's just here to do his job. Agent Smith's job is to keep order. He keeps order because it's his job. That's it. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. It doesn't matter how he feels about it. He just does his job without allowing people's opinions to affect him. The Borg from Star Trek. Now, the Borg isn't one character per se, it's a robot hive mind, which, for those of you who don't know, a hive mind is, imagine if everybody's thoughts were interconnected. So if I could know what you're thinking, you know what I think, everybody know what each other think, and we all work together. An example of this is honeybees and ants. Ants all know their goal is to protect the queen by all means. That is their goal. Honeybees, their goal is protect the queen by any means, make sure there's food. That is it. Okay? And that's why if you kill one ant, all the ants will swarm you at the same time. If you kill one honeybee, all the honeybees swarm you at the same time. Kill one wasp, all of them swarm you at the same time. You get the point. Now, what the Borg does is their single goal is to take over the universe. That's it. Their one goal in life is take over the universe and kill anyone who tries to stop them. That's it. And because they're all super focused on this, they've created insanely effective ways of doing it. They have a gigantic ship the size of a planet that they all built together that they use to destroy planets and enslave them. Now, what we can learn from this is that when we focus on a goal, we know very clearly what we want. We are able to attack this goal, not violently attack, but you get what I mean by it. We're able to go for this goal. We're able to be focused. We're able to be targeted and locked in to what it is that we want. How will we get there? What's in our way? And how will we stop letting the things that are in our way block us? How will we overcome the obstacle rather than being limited by the obstacle? And this is going to move us into our next one. Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, this was actually based on a real person. The story behind it is that he was a guy who worked on the stock market, and people would give him his money. People would give him their money to invest in stocks because nowadays you can just go on the computer and buy stocks. But back then, you had to go call somebody who worked on Wall Street and have them do it for you. Like you send them a check, wire it to them, you send them the money, and then they do it for you. So people were giving him their money, and he was able to talk them into really bad investments so that he could take the money, commit bank fraud, not bank fraud, commit stock fraud, and take all the money for himself so he gets super rich. Everybody else would be super broke. And you would think, how did nobody see through this? Because he was doing this for a long time. Very simple. He was so charismatic that people would just trust him. Like, hey man, I have this fantastic idea that's gonna work out super well for you. That comes off very, very salesy. But he knew how to do it in a way where people would listen, they trust him, they'd understand because he's an expert. He's an expert in stocks. That's his entire job. So why would I not trust the expert? It's like if your doctor tells you to take a certain medicine, why would you not trust the doctor? They're the expert in this subject. So that's an example of being charismatic, knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to communicate very effectively, things like that. Now we move into comics. Lex Luthor. He is Superman's biggest enemy. He is a multi-billionaire who creates a company for the sole purpose of trying to defeat Superman. So he has the company name is Lex Enterprise. So he creates this company and he's making all this technology to try and kill Superman. He never really gets around to it, but he tries his best to. He has so much ambition because think of it like this. I'm going to go defeat a nearly indestructible super alien with laser vision, the ability to fly. He can lift cars. He can do all this crazy stuff. But I'm going to go defeat him. That is ambition so like delusional. But because of how ambitious he was, he took that energy And he took that drive and put it into other things as well, such as building up his company, creating new technologies, becoming super rich. That is what ambition can create for you. The Joker. I mentioned him earlier, but not for the reason why you might have thought. He focuses on opportunity, not obstacles. Okay? He gets beat up by Batman, locked into an asylum, sent to prison like 50 times, and all this other stuff. But through it all, he focuses on how can I get back out there? How can I break out? How can I overcome this rather than being stuck in this prison cell? They can't stop me. I can't be stopped. That's a way of looking at life. Because no matter how many times Batman throws him in prison, no matter how many times Batman beats him up, no matter how many times he gets arrested, the man still keeps pushing. He gets back out there. He gets to his goal. He does what he wants. He doesn't let other people control him. And he's also super charismatic. He talked a psychiatrist who is trained in how to spot mentally ill people. He talked her into jumping into a pit of acid to prove her loyalty to him. That's the story of Harley Quinn. Okay, that's the story of Harley Quinn. She married a mental patient, knowing he was one, while she was a trained psychiatrist. He talked he talked her into jumping into acid. That is insane levels of charisma. Now, into our last section, the final tips and takeaways. What can we learn from this? Confidence is key. You got to be confident in yourself. If you're not confident in yourself, if you're not your biggest hype man, it don't matter if who else is. It don't matter if everybody else love you if you don't love you. Be fun to be around. If you want friends, if you want a relationship, if you want your coworkers to like you, be fun to be around. Crack a couple of jokes. You don't got to stand around all stone faced and sour. I'm not saying be something you're not. You don't got to go be Kevin Hart, but just be fun to be around. Like, have something going on in your life. Be able to talk to people. Be able to take charge. If you know what you want, go for it. Within legal limit, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, okay? Because don't take my words out of context. I'm saying when you know what you want and this thing does not hurt others, it is not a danger to yourself, and it is within limits of the law, go for it. Because if you can't take charge in your life, if you can't be assertive in your life, if you can't achieve and go for what you want, you're never going to have the things that you want. If you want to get $1 million, let's say, you have to be willing to put in $1 million of work. You got to be willing to go study them books. You got to be willing to go get that degree. You got to be willing to do these things that might lead you to that path. And I'm not saying that the only job to make $1 million a year are degrees. No, not at all. I'm just using that as an example, like a really high paid lawyer or a really high paid brain surgeon. They make $1 million. But they have to take charge of their time because you can't be wasting a bunch of time on nonsense. You can't be wasting a bunch of time on things that don't get you to your goal. You can't be wasting a bunch of time on the things that take you away from what you want. You got to put your time towards what you do want. And that means taking charge and saying, no, I'm not going to that party. No, I'm not going out drinking with you. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing that. No, no, no. Because you know the thing that you want to say yes to. You know what you want out of life. You know where you want to go. You know where you are going as long as you can take charge of your life. Now, woo, don't be afraid to take on a big challenge. What this means is that in life, there's going to be problems. There's going to be things that get in the way. There's going to be things like, oh, student loan debt, buying a house, making money. There are challenges that happen in life. Oh my gosh, how am I going to afford this loan, this student loan debt? Oh my gosh, how am I going to afford this thing? How am I going to get strong in the gym? How am I going to lose 50 pounds? How am I going to do these big challenges? You gotta Stop being afraid and start making progress towards it, okay? It's not going to be a 1 month process to lose 50 pounds. It's going to take some time, but you can't be afraid of the challenge. It's okay to feel fear, but when you are afraid, it means you're allowing yourself to be controlled. It means you're allowing yourself to be limited. It means you're allowing yourself to be held back by the fear. It's okay to feel it, but you can't let it dictate your life. Next up, find solutions rather than complaints. This ties right on back to the example I used of if you want to lose 50 pounds. You got a big problem, okay? Big problem. I'm 50 pounds overweight. I need to get healthier. What's the solution? Diet. What's the solution? Exercise. What's the solution? Water instead of soda. What's the solution? Stop drinking alcohol. What's the solution? Stop eating fast food. What's the solution? So and so on. Rather than, oh my gosh, this just sucks. It's hard for me to walk up the steps. It's this. Oh my gosh. Ah. Stop complaining. Find a solution. Please, for your own good, stop complaining. Find solutions. Now, focus on the mission. This even ties right on back if you want to lose 50 pounds. What is the mission? What is the goal? What are you trying to achieve? You want to lose 50 pounds. You want to make more money. You want to get strong in the gym. You want to. I'm trying to think of some other examples, but y'all get the point. My brain's kind of all over the place right now. Okay, think a mile a minute. That's why I talk so fast. But when you know the mission, when you know the goal, you gotta focus on that. Like, okay, yes, what if this happens? If that happens, it happens. I'm on the mission. I'm on the mission. I'm on the goal. You have to like have tunnel vision. And when things come up, you deal with it. But you don't but you don't sit around worrying, what if this? What if that? 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 Because very often overthinking is our excuse to procrastinate. Because I gotta I gotta save up $10,000 before I start my online business. No, you don't. You have a laptop. You have a smartphone. You have access to YouTube. You know, I gotta have my employees, I gotta hire employees before I start the business. No, you don't. Depending on what the job is, like it depends on what you're trying to start. But let's just say you want to start making clothing. You don't need to hire employees for that starting out. Go buy 10 blank white t-shirts, get yourself a screen printer, and get to work. Okay? I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I'm not saying you're gonna make a bunch of money starting out. But you don't need to hire employees just starting out. You do that when the business is growing. So very often when we take our focus yeah, my room's echoing now. When we take our focus, I hope y'all didn't hear all that. But when we take our focus off the mission and onto all the excuses, it's just our brain way of letting us procrastinate. And we don't do that around here. We are focused in. We are focused. We are locked in. We are Yeah, we are locked in. We are focused. I don't know why my room is vibrating, but I was saying that when you are letting yourself allow all the excuses to affect you, that's just your brain's way of letting you procrastinate. And we don't do that, okay? We slip up from time to time, but we get back. We keep pushing. The last one, and this is the most important. Don't allow other people to affect you. I know that's hard. I know it's difficult. You might have some family, friends, girlfriend. It's usually the family though who are in your ear and they're like, "What if this happens? Yeah, but there's this problem and this could go wrong and that could go wrong and that could go wrong and that could go wrong." And of course, if they start naming some valid things, like if you say, "I want to go tightrope walking with no harness," and they say, "What if you fall? What if you fall 500 feet?" That's worth listening to. Okay, that's worth listening to. But if you want to do something like start an online business and they say, what if nobody buys it? What if a million people buy it? Like, what if 100 people buy it? What if 10 people buy it? Okay? Rather than being so focused on allowing negative opinion to affect you, simply hear it, and you got to decide, is this worth listening to? Is this valid? Is this something worth taking into account? And if it's not, you got to block that out. Okay, you got to block that out. You got to keep that out your mind. And I know that's hard. Trust me. Trust me. I know that can be hard at times. But the more you do it, the more you focus on that, the more important you're going to realize. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You're the one getting in that casket. And the last thing I want to leave you with is sometimes to do the right thing for you requires being cold based on others' perception. Let me repeat that. The right thing for you requires being cold based on others' perception. Take this as an example. If you're trying to get a college degree, that means you're going to have to spend a lot of time studying, a lot of time reading, a lot of time doing homework, notes, preparing for tests, and all that good stuff. But to other people, what's good for you and your education and future comes off as, oh, he don't want to hang out with us. Oh, he don't want to go drinking with us. Oh, he don't want to go party with us. Oh, he don't want to go to the club with us. He think he too good for us. He think he all that Mr. Smarty Pants. No. Sometimes the right thing for you, focusing on your education, your future, requires being cold to their perception, based on their opinion. Okay? Because an opinion is not a fact. It is a fact that taking care of your education, your future, and your mental health is a thing that is supportive. That is a fact. It is not an opinion, it is a fact. Okay, I want you to take some time where you don't go partying, you don't go drinking, you don't go out to clubs, you don't do negative habits for just 3 days. Just 3 days, not even a week. 3 days, no partying, no drinking, no clubbing, none of that. And instead, I want you to read. I want you to learn something. I want you to go to the gym. Just 3 days. And tell me you don't see a difference. Tell me you don't, at the minimum, realize, like, wait, this kind of nice. It might hurt when I lift these weights, but you know what? I'm taking better care of myself. All you got to do is 3 days. And don't lie. Now, you do that for a week. Oh, now I see something. You do that for a month. Oh, the scale went down a little bit. Do that for a year. You're like, oh my gosh, I look so different. My skin is better. My teeth is better. My breath don't stink anymore. I can think clearer. I'm stronger. I'm in better shape. Wow. Wow. But other people gonna start thinking, oh, you think you too good for us. You think you look better than us. And that's when all the opinions come. And that's why I made a point to mention that you got to be able to not care about their opinion. Okay, I'm still working on that. Even me, I'm still working on being better at that. But I'm so much better at it than I used to be. Like, okay, you feel how you feel. I feel how I feel. I know what I know. You know what you know, but you're not in my head. You're not in my life. You're not in me. Your life is your life. My life is my life. You do what you do. I do what I do. You got to get to that point. And I'm going to close out again just by listing off the final takeaways. Be confident. Be fun to be around. Know how to take charge and understand your life is your life. Don't be afraid to take on those big challenges. Focus on the solution to your problem rather than complaining about the problem. Focus on the mission and the goal that you want, and do not allow the opinions of other people to affect you. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that you have a blessed day, and I hope that you understand. Actually, I gotta name one last thing, and then I'm gonna go. I gotta name one last thing because this just came to me. So the reason why a lot of times bad things happen to good people is because they don't have these certain qualities here. Because a lot of time we're told being good is being somebody who lets others have their way, being somebody who isn't argumentative, being somebody who just goes with the crowd, being somebody who is willing to sacrifice themselves for others. Now, I would say this: the only people you should sacrifice yourself for is your children. Your children and some family members, some of them. Don't just lay down your life for your cousin because of your cousin. That's very nuanced. But when we're told being a good person is being somebody who just lets others have their way, being somebody who is super duper nice. And I'm not saying kind hearted is bad. I'm just saying you're super nice. You're always letting others have their way. You're always letting them do what they want to you. You're not standing up for yourself. A lot of times, that's what we're told is being a good person. And what we're told is being a bad person is being rude, being argumentative, being combative. When if you really think about it, these are the kind of qualities that make sure that people don't take advantage of you. Being able to stand up for yourself, being able to know what you want, being able to not care about other people's opinion, being able to stand up for who and what you believe in. Those are the qualities that prevent you from getting taken advantage of. And now we're going to close out on that. Remember, I hope that you have a blessed day. Hope you learned something. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you